About tonight's game. I'm joined by Buffalo Bills insider and friend of the show, Vic CARUCCI. Vic, the Bills are not in the best shape right now. They're one game above 500. They've already lost a few games they were expected to win. What is at stake if the team doesn't show up again tonight and they lose versus arguably one of the worst teams in the league?
Yeah, and I think that's the whole big picture here is the situation they find themselves when it's expectations versus reality. Reality is the 5-4 record, while not a killer for the season, and like you said, they're only a game behind the Dolphins and all that, but it is the way they've gotten here and these last 5 games that have been troubling, and of course the proliferation of injuries on defense. But we've just seen too much of the struggles even in games they've won, and this is as long a stretch of sort of mediocrity from this team that we really haven't seen for the better part of the last few seasons.
Vic, another big question this season is the offense. We talked about this earlier in the season, yet here we are again. Same questions. Can the offense rebound tonight? And if it doesn't, does it mean that we've overestimated the offense, or is there something that's stunning its growth?
Yeah, and we can include the Bills because there's been, of course, some pretty big investment there. The contract that Josh Allen has, the expectation that he's going to perform like a franchise quarterback on a consistent basis. Stephon Diggs, the other pieces to this offense, the reparations or additions and subtractions, I guess, to the offensive line to get it right. All of that adds up to a team that was expected to be better offensively than we have seen to date. And Josh throwing those interceptions, overshadowing the other production he has, which is, that of a guy who can run and score with his arm or his legs. But we're not seeing this enough, and we're certainly not seeing it enough in the first half. That 7 points, for instance, against the Bengals, that has been part of a troubling trend, the slow starts.
You're right about that, and when we talk about those interceptions. But let's go to the other side of the ball, the defense. The Bills have a lot of injuries, causing their once solid defense to be filled with some cracks. Again, the Broncos, they're bad, but they do have a Super Bowl winner at quarterback in Russell and as their head coach. How much could those injuries hurt them tonight?
And that's what you really are going to be looking at in this game. Of course, again, the given is, can Buffalo's offense function well? And when they're in Orchard Park, they tend to do that. But it's about this defense that could go into this game with as many as 6 starters out in the lineup. We're talking 5 already. Christian Benford, of course, has, Terrell Bernard dealing with a concussion. Benford's out at corner, but Bernard with the concussion, that could bring that total up to a very alarmingly high level. Add to that Von Miller. Does he turn the corner from his continued recovery from a knee injury? Russell Wilson is at his best, can be a great quarterback, was with Seattle, hasn't quite consistently been there for the Broncos this year. But I'll tell you what, the last couple of games, especially that Kansas City game, he looked like the Wilson of old. And Sean Payton knows a thing or two about coaching successful offenses.
You're right about that. It's not going to be easy as people may think. So if the Bills lose, is this going to be the last straw? Who's going to be the blame? Could we see something happening on Tuesday morning?
Claudine, what you bring up is very fair, I think, because it is on the collective mind, I think, of everyone who cares about the Buffalo Bills, that this would feel, if it's not rock bottom, it is as close to rock bottom as you can get in November, before Thanksgiving. A loss would be so hard to look at and feel like there is going to be progression from here. Again, mathematically, they're out of nothing, but it would, I think, seal the idea that if they don't win their division, the path to the playoffs would be so difficult as, say, a wild card team. And then what kind of team, if we're talking playoffs? Should we even use the term playoffs if they come out of Orchard Park on a Monday night with a loss? Yeah, very difficult, I think, for anyone to fathom. You said changes. Well, they'd be called for by a lot of those talk show callers and such, and social media. Whether there would be any actual reaction, we'll see.
Yeah, you're right about that, Vic. And Bills Mafia, they're going to be talking that talk tomorrow, no matter what. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what plays out on the field. As always, you are great to speak with. Thank you so much for joining us on the 530, Vic.
My pleasure, Claudia, and always.